Taylor Allison Swift was born on December 13, 1989, in Reading, Pennsylvania, but destiny was already preparing a stage much bigger than the small Christmas tree farm where she grew up. Long before she became one of the most influential pop stars of her generation, Taylor was just a quiet, determined girl who loved writing stories and turning her feelings into melodies. While most kids her age were learning multiplication tables, Taylor was teaching herself guitar chords, writing poetry, and imagining stadiums she had never seen. Her parents noticed something unusual about her ambition. She wasn't just singing for fun, she was studying the craft, practicing every day, and performing anywhere she could. Talent shows, coffee shops, local events. And every time she performed, that spark grew brighter. At just 11 years old, Taylor took a homemade demo tape to Nashville, hoping the music capital would open its doors. Instead, every label turned her down. They told her she was too young. Not ready, not what they were looking for. But Taylor didn't hear rejection. She heard a challenge. Her family believed in her so deeply that they moved to Tennessee to bring her closer to the dream. In Nashville, Taylor kept writing relentlessly. She turned her life, her emotions, heartbreaks, friendships, fears, into songs that felt like diary entries shared with the world. At just 14, she became one of the youngest songwriters ever signed to a major music publisher, and by 16, she released her self-titled debut album, proving that the small-town girl they once rejected was now a rising star. Her storytelling was fresh, raw, and honest. She sang about being an outsider, about teenage crushes, about wanting to be seen and understood. Millions of young people connected to her immediately. Songs like Teardrops on My Guitar and Tim McGraw turned her into the new voice of country pop. But Taylor wasn't satisfied. She wanted to evolve, to build an empire through authenticity. Then came Fearless, the album that changed everything. It became the best-selling album of 2009, won multiple Grammys including Album of the Year, and turned Taylor into a global superstar, but with fame came challenges. In 2009, during her MTV VMA acceptance speech, she was interrupted in a moment that would become one of pop culture's biggest controversies. The world watched, shocked, as a teenage singer stood frozen on stage. But instead of breaking her, the moment only pushed her to rise even higher. Taylor reinvented herself again and again, from the country sweetheart to the fearless pop powerhouse. Her album Speak Now, written entirely by herself, was a direct answer to her critics. Then came Red, a masterful blend of country, pop, and rock that hinted at the massive shift to come. But it was her fifth album, 1989, that marked her official coronation as a pop queen. Songs like Shake It Off and Blank Space dominated the charts, and she won her second Album of the Year Grammy, making her the first woman to ever do so. Her career was at an all-time high, but so was the public scrutiny. After a period of intense media focus and public feuds, Taylor vanished from the spotlight. She returned in 2017 with Reputation, a dark, synth-heavy album that confronted the narratives built around her. She wasn't asking for forgiveness, she was taking back control. The old Taylor wasn't dead, she had just evolved. After the storm of Reputation came the daylight of Lover, an album filled with color and optimism. But behind this happy exterior, a new battle was brewing. Her original record label sold the master recordings of her first 6 albums without her consent, sparking a global conversation about artists' rights. Instead of giving up, she made a bold decision. She would re-record her entire early catalog, reclaiming her work and her legacy. The industry doubted her, but once again, she proved them wrong. Taylor's versions became a historic victory for creativity and ownership. During the quiet of the global pandemic, she surprised everyone again, releasing to surprise indie folk albums, Folklore, and Evermore. These stripped-back, storytelling-focused records showcased her songwriting at its most raw and poetic. Folklore went on to win her a third Album of the Year Grammy, placing her in an elite circle of artists. Then came Midnights, and with it, the Eras Tour, a record-shattering global phenomenon that celebrated every chapter of her career. The tour became more than a concert, it was a cultural pilgrimage for millions of fans, the Swifties, who had grown up with her music as the soundtrack to their lives. Her true power lies not in the numbers, but in the way her music makes people feel seen. The girl who once delivered demo tapes door to door now fills stadiums with over 70,000 screaming fans every night. The kid they rejected became one of the most powerful women in music. Taylor Swift's life is not just a story of talent. It is a story of resilience, evolution, and the courage to turn your truth into art. It is the journey of a girl who turned her diary into a global soundtrack. A woman who turned heartbreak into history. An artist who proved that the pen, the guitar, and an unwavering belief in yourself can rewrite the world. And in the end, Taylor Swift is still doing the same thing she started with, sitting with her thoughts, turning emotions into lyrics, and giving the world a piece of herself, one song at a time. Thanks for watching.